Hi, I'm Tom Jones, and today I'm going to bring you the latest Harley Davidson's update on their business plan, including their next 5-year strategic plan, the Hardwire. Stay tuned. The channel for the latest in motorcycle news, views, and tech reviews. So, today's Harley Davidson business update conference call started off with Jochen Zeitz giving us sort of an overview of the rewire. The rewire being Harley Davidson code for business rationalization since Jochen took control. So in the slide that they produced in front of us, it talks about them reducing the complexity of the business and increasing speed. Basically, that's down to rationalisation of the business. They've removed a lot of the models or reduced that by 30%. They've reduced the operating costs of the business by $115 million. So they're reducing the cost of producing motorcycles in the Harley Davidson business. They've exited 39 markets, leaving themselves placed in 50 of the remaining markets that they were once in. And they've reduced the dealer inventory by some 59% in an effort to increase desirability of their motorcycles. Next up on the conference call was Gina, the Senior Finance Officer for Harley Davidson, and basically she showed us lots and lots of slides that came down to Harley Davidson in 2020 made just $1 million. Now, that was a lot due to the cost of the restructuring program within Harley Davidson, which has cost them $130 million. She went through some more slides showing that retail sales were down 17%, yet shipments were down 32%. So thinking about the maths of that, if shipments were down 32% but sales were only down 17%, then obviously they're making more profit out of the motorcycles they're selling. Which Gina did admit later on in the Q&A that higher prices have offset product mix. So there's a few terms that we've heard so far. We've heard the term desirability, and they're reducing the inventory of the motorcycles to try and increase that desirability of the product. They've talked about making more profit out of each motorcycle sale, and this product mix. Now, product mix is a term that Harley have been using for probably well over a year now, if not two, which is Harley code for we don't sell an adventure touring motorcycle yet. But obviously that will soon change, because on the 22nd of February, Harley Davidson will be launching the Pan America. So the next part of the presentation on the conference call was back-led by Jochen Zeitz himself, and the main meat of this being the Hardwire. That's the 5-year strategic plan for Harley Davidson going forward. So they went through, the usual vision, mission, culture stuff that we all have in these strategic plans, and they expressed their Hardwire priorities, all 6 of their priorities, which I'll just flash up now for you. But basically, what does that actually mean for us as consumers, as Harley Davidson riders? And I think it basically comes down to Harley Davidson want to increase their profitability. They're going to do this from 2 methods. Firstly, to reduce their operating costs, reduce the base costs, which they've done, tick, and make sure they sell all the bikes at full MSRP. So there's going to be no deals on Harley Davidson motorcycles anymore in the dealers. They're going to limit the availability of these motorcycles to the dealers. So when you want a model, you're going to be paying full price for it. So there's lots about in the slides about what they want to achieve, but there's very little in the presentation about how they're actually going to do this. And most of the information I've gleaned from the presentation actually came out later on in the Q&A. So Jochen talked a lot about this 70-20-10. So what did he actually mean by this 70-20-10? Well, he meant 70% of the focus is on where they make the most money, and that's on the touring range. It's on the large cruisers, and there was big hints on trikes here. So expect new trike models coming out later this year. They're going to be focused on comfort, more modern design, whatever that might mean from Harley Davidson. They talked, so this 20 is about the new segment. So obviously we've got the Pan America coming and a new middleweight cruiser. I think that's Harley Davidson code for the new Sportster. And that, so the 70, the 20, the 10 is about new low displacement markets, but they're going to do that through partnerships. They're not going to build their own low displacement motorcycles. So that's really going to be where they're going to focus their efforts on, that 70, 20, 10. For Harley Davidson, it's about the touring is giving them that steady demand that they're going to focus making their most profit on. They're going to look to getting people into the brand. They're going to focus on maintaining them within the brand, keeping them buying a new Harley Davidson by wanting, the next upgrade. So I think there's going to be a focus on getting them in on maybe cheaper used motorcycles, which they're going to try and corner the market on there. Get you into buying, the large cruiser up into the touring range, and keep enticing you through novelty and higher tech, i.e. I think the focus is get you on a CVO as quick as possible. So after Jochen finished talking about the 70, he gave a little bit of insight into the 20 with being a little bit coy. Obviously the first thing, focus on their 20% of their focus is on the Pan America. 20% of the focus, maybe 100% of their focus right now. I think this is almost their do or die motorcycle. They're really hoping this will take a huge chunk of the market. Maybe breaking into the BMW GS territory, the KTM 1290, the Triumph Tiger 1200. We'll have to wait and see how that launch goes and the arrival of the Pan America on the 22nd of Feb. I suspect in European markets, key to its success is how well the motorcycle magazine reviewers take to the motorcycle after they get their hands on it. I think that's going to be real key for Harley Davidson in Europe. In America, I'm sure this is going to be a massive hit, giving them the availability of buying a home-built American motorcycle, kind of like the Jeep equivalent of an off-road vehicle. So it's certainly going to be key for Harley. But again, they hinted that there will be a new middleweight cruiser. Again, code the new Sportster will also arrive on the 22nd of February. Not giving us much information there really, just a snippet picture of an engine. I think that's going to be really key for Harley Davidson to make sure that they have that middleweight cruiser in their lineup, something a little bit cheaper. It was certainly how I came into Harley Davidson, buying a Harley Davidson Iron 883. The next thing Harley talked about was focusing on their top 10 high priority markets. So out of the 50 markets, they're focusing on 10. And I'll throw up the picture of where they've got their dots for the markets that they're going to focus on. And interestingly, smack bang in the middle there is Europe, with the UK being hit squarely there. I think that's maybe France, possibly Germany, and down into Italy are markets to focus on, but not telling us what that actually means. Trying to read between the lines, certainly some of the Q&A questions. I think that's going to be an introduction of Harley Davidson financial services across Europe, maybe even globally. And I think what they're actually going to do is launch a whole new way of buying your Harley Davidson motorcycle. So not just focus on getting you in the dealerships now, but actually partnering with the dealerships and making it an online experience. So you can go online, you can not just choose your motorcycle, but choose all the parts that you want fitted to that motorcycle at point of purchase. So kind of Harley Davidson are trying to catch up with what the car industry has already been doing for some time. If you go onto BMW's website, Motorrad, and look at the new R18 Cruiser, you can spec it all out, you get a quote, and I'm sure that's going to lead right into, you being told you can pick your Harley Davidson up at, the dealership closest to you at such and such a date, without actually even visiting the showroom. But then that'll get you into the showroom, and you're going to have all of that marketing that's also going to be available online, and the clothing, the accessories and everything. So expect a lot more to come from the digital world of Harley Davidson. Next up was Harley Davidson taking the lead in electric motorcycles. Now, in the Q&A, Jochen was quite honest, I thought, when he actually mentioned that the electric motorcycle simply doesn't fit the current Harley Davidson middle-aged consumer right now. So it's not part of the strategy presented today, and the electric motorcycle strategy is actually going to come out later this year, which is focused more on the urban rider, because simply the current Harley Davidson consumer wants range, he's going to do big miles, he wants the luggage capacity, and that technology simply isn't there in electric motorcycles at the moment. But they're investing now for the future. So, 10, 15 years time, when the technology is there to power the big touring range, then Harley Davidson will be front and centre. They'll be able to say, the new motorcycles out there, the electric tourers, their new technology, whereas theirs will be tried and tested for 10, 15 years. So they'll have that, trust of the consumer that bike is not going to fail on them. And just finally, sort of what I take away from the presentation from Jochen is a realism for their investors, for Harley Davidson investors. Previously Matt Levatich had over-promised and under-delivered, and this is obviously not going to be Jochen's way. His way is going to be, the plan for next year is just to reach the levels they were at 2019 and just make steady progress for the investors there on in. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully from this you've picked up all the snippets. It's there to go online and download the Harley Davidson conference call if you so wish, and sit through it all. But if you liked what I've presented, then please hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon, and get notified the next time I put up a video. Cheers.